Hey guys, what's up? Shana here again, and today I want to talk about leveling and gearing up in Season 2, or any season in general. And I want to go over the whole process of starting a new level 1 character, getting to 70 as fast as possible, and then from there, gearing up and getting into T6 so you could farm your endgame gear. Alright, so what you're going to do is you're going to start a new character. Now, leveling up in group is going to be better. You know, you'll be a little more efficient because for every person that joins a game, monsters get 70% more health, and then you effectively get another character worth of damage. So you double your damage, only 70% more health. It works out. You get a little bonus to experience and everything like that. Now, when starting off on season, you can start off straight from adventure mode as long as you have completed the campaign once on your account. That could have been on normal or on season 1. It doesn't matter. As long as you completed the campaign once, you could start in adventure mode from the beginning of a season. Alright, so now as far as difficulty goes, there's normal, which is just the regular game, no bonus XP. There's hard, which is a 75% XP bonus, which is good. And then there's expert, which is going a difficulty up and getting 100% XP bonus, where hard has 75% and expert has 100%. I don't believe expert is worth it because of that alone. So we're gonna eliminate expert. Normal, hard, and then master is 200%. So 75 to 200%. These are the three difficulties you're gonna be using from level 1 through 70. You could start off in hard. Hard is a good spot to start for level 1, and then you could go through a full game of Act 1 bounties. Just do bounties in a group, clear it, you know, get the bag at the end. You'll get some rift keys at it. You save those up for Torment 6 later on. So as you're going through 1 through 70, you're going to be leveling up, you're going to be getting gear, but the gear is going to come randomly. You might hit a dry spell for a few levels, you might get really lucky for a few levels. Sometimes, depending on the skills that are available to you, the game's difficulty could, you know, be harder or easier. So every time you can complete Act 1 bounties, you leave the game, and when you leave the game, you have the opportunity to switch your difficulty. So if the last game felt way too easy, bump it up. If it felt way too hard, bump it down. And if it just felt okay, then you're good to go. Now, for the game to feel okay, you should be killing white mobs in a few hits, like 1, 2, 3 hits, maybe 4 hits. It depends on the monster type. Like regular low HP monsters should be killed in a few hits, and that's kind of how you should judge it. If mobs are if you're having to stand there and swing and swing and swing just to kill a pack of mobs, you're going to be taking way too much time, and the difficulty you're playing on isn't going to be worth the bonus XP. So that's pretty much that for 1 to 70. As you get closer to 70, in the 60 to 70 range, you are most likely going to be playing on the normal difficulty for, you know, Reaper souls. And the whole way through, it's pretty much Act 1 bounties, get a group, all that good stuff. Alright, so when you hit level 70, you're gonna want to start in a normal game. And in the normal game, again, play with other people, especially people your class, because loot share is really important, but I'll get on to that a little later. When you first hit 70, what you're really going to want to do is, again, stay in Act 1 bounties. You don't want to start popping your rift keys until Torment mode is available and you're able to start clearing Torment 1. So when you first hit 70, some of your gear might be really low level. You could, you know, check the merchants and stuff to replace any kind of really bad gear. You might be able to get, you know, a yellow weapon or something like that. you know, a few yellow pieces of gear here just to get your damage up a little bit, get those like low level items off you. It's not that big of a deal. But so once you hit normal, you're gonna start going through Act 1 bounties still, like I said, still in a group, and you're gonna clear. You're probably gonna be doing this for, you know, about an hour or so, and what you're gonna be looking for are yellow pieces of gear. You're gonna look for yellow and blue pieces of gear that have decent stats on them. So as you kill things, you're gonna see yellow pieces of gear dropping. Like those bracers right there, they have physical skill, strength, they have resistance. So you would pick those up, you could reroll the regen to 6% crit, and then you have a decent pair of bracers with, you know, decent damage. And then you can get a pair of pants like this. They don't have all res, but they have strength, vitality. You can reroll the weapon throw to 3 sockets. You just start collecting pieces of gear like that, pick up crafting materials. Maybe you'll get some nice weapons. You're looking for yellow gear with good stats. I'll go over what those good stats are really quick and what kind of stats you're looking for just by hovering over my gear. Now, say on a pair of gloves, what you're looking for really are the strength and the crit chance. Crit chance is like the biggest stat on a pair of gloves. Stupid mom. Crit chance is the biggest stat because you get 10 crit chance, and that's really big compared to the 50 crit damage. You know, 10 crit chance, 1 crit chance is equal to 10 crit damage. So you're able to get a really big amount of crit chance on your gloves. You really want that. So if you get a pair of gloves with strength and crit, and then maybe a few other stats, then that's a good start. That's a good start. You definitely want to get a weapon with decent damage and a socket, a little bit of strength. Maybe if you can get a legendary, who knows. But in normal mode, you're not going to be seeing a lot of legendaries. You're definitely not going to be seeing a lot of legendaries. Life on hit is really good in the beginning of the game. If you can get a two-handed weapon with life on hit, that's for barbarian, but I mean whatever applies to your character. You're going to want to try to get rings again with crit chance. Crit damage, whatever you could find on them, mainly a socket, because you're going to want a socket on each piece of your jewelry. Each piece of your jewelry, you're definitely going to want a socket, so that eventually when you get to Torment 1, get a greater rift key, and you can get some gems. So on your shoulders, you're going to want some strength, some vitality, if you get cooldown here and there, whatever you can get. It doesn't have to be 4 out of 4, it could be 2 out of 4. You're just trying to get your start, because this kind of gear will get you into Torment 1. On your gloves, you're going to want the strength and the crit chance, hopefully a socket, your chest, again, strength, vit, all res, whatever you can get. On your necklace, you definitely want to try to get crit chance, crit damage, socket. If at all possible, prioritize crit damage. Prioritize crit damage and a socket. Or even if you can only get crit chance, crit damage, and no socket, because you could start off with just 2 gem sockets. But yeah, that's the main idea of it. You know, again, belt, strength, really important there. Strength, sockets on your pants, on your boots. You want a little movement speed, and some strength, and etc. And that's pretty much it. Once you get a decent setup of gear, you're going to want to bump it up to Torment 1. Again, a group is the best thing you could do, especially if you have one other person in that group who is the same class as you, or at least the same main stat. So if you're a barb, at least play with a crusader. And in Torment 1, you're going to start farming for legendaries a little bit, but the first thing you're going to want to do is go through normal rifts. You've saved up all your rift keys up until then. You've been doing Act 1 bounties, getting a bunch of caches, getting a bunch of rift keys, so you should have plenty of rift keys to just spam Torment 1 rifts. Torment 1 Rift Guardians have 20% chance to drop a greater rift key. And what you're looking for is just 1 greater rift key, and you're going to use that 1 key to get all your legendary gems. And how you're going to do that is You need to do Greater Rifts, but you cannot complete the Greater Rift and kill the Guardian in under with any more than like I think it's 3 minutes and 30 seconds remaining. It could be 4 minutes and 30 seconds. I'll find out for sure. I just slipped my mind right now, but I'll put an annotation. But that's what you're gonna do with your one Greater Rift key. And the reason why you do this is when you complete it with that much time left, you only want to go up one Greater Rift difficulty at a time. So you could take one key and go from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5. Each one of those Greater Rift runs giving you 1 or 2 of the legendary gems until you get all of them. If you know. So how to do that is, in the beginning of a Greater Rift, you could just skip a few mobs. Don't worry about them. Skip a few mobs, leave them for later, because once you get the Greater Rift progressed to like 95+%, you could teleport out and go do some bounties and stuff until you're at that point where, you know, you're at that 12.5 minute mark. And then you could go back in through the front portal of the Greater Rift, finish off those mobs that you left in the beginning, and spawn the boss, kill him, and get the key to the next level, and get 1 or 2 of the legendary gems. And repeat that all the way until, you know, in the beginning of the game, Greater Rift like 14, 15 is possible. Like if you're able to do Torment 1, then you could do that kind of stuff. So you'll be able to progress that, and with one Greater Rift key, you'll be able to get all your legendary gems. Now, the legendary gems you're mainly after are Wreath of Lightning and Pain Enhancer. Wreath of Lightning procs and will hit all the mobs around you, and its damage is really, really, really good for early game when you're in Torment 1. As you get higher level and get into Torment 6 and higher end Greater Rifts, it's not very good at all. But Wreath of Lightning can crit, and whenever you crit, you proc Pain Enhancer. So your Wreath of Lightning will proc, and then your Wreath of Lightning will apply a Pain Enhancer dot on everything, and it'll start clearing the screen whether your build has high screen clearing potential or not. You could also look for the new Experience gem, although you might need to start leveling that one up a little bit to use it. You could use other gems like, say, Toxin. You could use all different types of other gems for the third gem. That's up to you. Maybe it depends on your class and your build. Alright, after you get your legendary gems, you're going to go back into Torment 1 farming, and that's when you're going to start farming for your legendary gear. Once you have your legendary gems and all that stuff, you're going to start absolutely flying through Torment 1, and your loot's going to be... There's going to be a ton of loot. You're going to be getting some of your set pieces, all that stuff. Use Kadala to get your set pieces. Try to get a decent weapon. If you get something like Stalgard's Decimator, it's really good. Depending on the weapons you get, it's going to determine what build you play as you're progressing. Like I said, playing with other people, especially people of your class, is going to be really good, especially at this point. You're going to want to play with at least one other person of your class. And the reason for it is loot share. Say I get a Raycore chest, awesome, but then I happen to get another Raycore chest 5 minutes later, and the other barb I'm playing with didn't get theirs yet. Now they did, and vice versa. You could start, you know, trading off your duplicates and kind of feeding each other gear, speeding up the process. So at least one other person of your class, if not more. More is better. But then, you know, deciding who gets the loot could be maybe a little more complicated when you have more people. It's still a little better if you could work something out with your friends. Alright, so as you're going, you're going to be getting gear, and then basically, like the first set that you unlock And like the first good weapon that you get is automatically just going to boost you from Torment 1 to pretty much Torment 4. So that's what you're going to do. You're going to farm Torment 1 until you get a decent setup of a decent set, just where you could play any like non-endgame build, any set that you could come up with, any, you know, decent legendary weapon. You got your legendary gems by now, and boom, you're in Torment 4. Now, once you're in Torment 4, you're basically going to do the same thing as Torment 1, just with an increased loot drop. Just a faster amount of legendaries, and that's where you start getting your better gear. And that's where you start going for, you know, the viable T6 builds. That's where you start going for your Raycore, or if you can manage to get Leapquake, if you can manage to get a Stone of Jordan, or if you can manage to get your Unity combination, anything that'll help you progress, because T6 is not that bad right now once you're able to at least even put together your set pieces to start playing a decent, halfway decent build. You're pretty much ready for T6. Oh, look at that, a Whimsyshire portal, or Whimsydale. Let's do it. Alright, so you're going to go through that, and then you're going to work your way up to, like I said, T6. And then, once you're in T6, that's it. That's, I mean, pretty much you guys know how it goes from there. Once you're in T6, you're farming for all your endgame stuff. Use Kadala. After you get your set items, it doesn't matter on the stats, I'd go for a legendary weapon. At least get a decent ancient two-hander, or a decent, you know, whatever you could find as a weapon. You definitely, weapons are very important, even though they're more expensive than the other pieces of gear. They're just so much more important. And then you're just gonna keep farming and farming and farming, and that's pretty much the rest of the game. And you just progress your gear, progress your character, get Paragon points, Paragon levels, etc. And then that's where you start progressing in Greater Rifts. Now, as far as experience, in this patch 2.1.2, Greater Rift 25 and up experience was increased by a lot. So there's going to come a point in time when you can clear a mid 40, a low 40, high 30 Greater Rift level in around 5 minutes, under 5 minutes, that doing those Greater Rift runs is potentially going to net you the most amount of experience you could get. So if you happen to be looking for experience or something like that, oh wait, I gotta, okay. If you happen to be looking for experience and getting Paragon levels and you're worried about that sort of stuff, you could go for it, but it's not that big a deal. Somewhere along the lines, you're going to want to keep farming bounties for goblins. You're going to want to, you know, try to open up that greed portal. You're going to want to, yeah, open up that so that you can get the Boon of the Hoarder gem, which is going to give you lots and lots of gold for your crafting. Once you get that gem, gold should no longer be a problem. In the beginning of the game, it's going to seem like crafting mats are almost non-existent, and you're always going to be starved for crafting mats, trying to enchant your gear. But after a while, you just get an overabundance of them to the point where they don't even matter. You can't run out if you wanted to. And that's pretty much it. That's the plan. That's the plan for starting up in a season, especially season 2. And that's how it goes. So anyways, not much more to say. Hope you liked the video, guys. Hope you found it helpful. If you want, like, subscribe, share. It'd be much appreciated here, guys. I really do thank you guys for all you do for me. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Later.